And I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared and ready like a bride, dressed to meet her husband. I heard a voice speaking from the throne. Now God's home is with people. He will live with them, and they shall be his people. God himself will be with them, and he will be their God. He will wipe away all tears from their eyes. There will be no more death, no more grief, or crying, or pain. The old things have disappeared. We do long for a new earth, and we've been called by God to do what we can to assist in this process. As we move forward as God's people, let us use these summer months to pray and work to put our own personal houses and our national house in order. Let us use the questions that are often posed in strategic planning and visioning exercises to get our minds focused. What do I like about my country? What do we do well? What do I dislike? And how can the country work to develop its people more intentionally? In what ways can all institutions, businesses, organizations be more efficient and effective? What don't we do well as a people? What are the wonderful opportunities available to us in this nation? What can be done today that is not already being done? Who can support the national development and how? What are some of the factors that threaten the well-being and future of our country? May we all engage in soul-searching this summer. May God give us wisdom and discernment to write these chapters of our history with courage and integrity. Let us pray for God's blessing and anointing on us all. And let us pray together in unity. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Dr. Hubert Minnis, Peter Turquette, Ransom Annette, Desmond Bannister, Brenda Wells, Jeffrey Lloyd, Dr. Duane Chance, Marvin Dames, Frankie Campbell, Vinicio Diageo, Michael Pintar, Darren Henfield, Ramal Ferrero, Manisha Roll, Brenza Roll, Alfred Johnson, Philip Davis, Vaughn Miller, Letitia Parker Edgecombe, Aaron Lewis, Carlton Roleg, James Albury, Travis Robinson, Adrian Gibson, Donald Saunders, Frederick McElpine, Heinz Jordan, Mark Hume, Michael Folks, Miriam Reckley Emmanuel, Reese Shipman, Ruben Rami, Ricky Mackey, Shannon Don Cartwright, Charnel Ferguson, Dennis Hannah Martin, Heisel Bob, Chester Cooper.
Good morning, honorable members. Introduction and swearing in of new members. Laying of documents by ministers. The chair recognizes the honorable member for Kalani.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg leave to lay on the table of the House a copy of the following. The Bahamas Registered Stocks Directions 2019, Bahamas Registered Stocks number 3, 2022, 2024, 2026, 2029, 2039, and 2049.
Order that the document be brought up. Order that the document to lie on the table. Further laying of documents by ministers. The chair recognizes the honorable member for Yamakro.
Mr. Speaker, I rise and beg leave to lay on the table of the House a copy of the following. The Industries Encouragement Approved Product Form It Bahamas Order 2019.
Order that the document be brought up.
Oh, it's already signed. It's already signed. Okay. Here. At the top. Okay. Okay.
Order that the document to lie on the table. Further laying of documents by ministers. The chair recognizes the honorable member for Yamakro.
Mr. Speaker, I rise and beg leave to lay the following document on the table of the House. The Industries Encouragement Approved Manufacturer Form It Bahamas Order 2019.
Order that the document be brought up. Order that document to lie on the table. Further laying of documents by ministers. Chair recognizes the honorable member for Carmichael.
Speaker, I beg leave to lay on the table of the House a copy of the Bridge Authority audited financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2017, the independent auditor's report.
Order that the document be brought up. Order that the document to lie on the table. Further laying of documents by ministers. Statements and communications by ministers. Communication by the clerk. Messages from the Governor General. Messages from the Senate. Motion for leave of absence, leave to resign seat, and new writs. Presentation of petitions. The chair recognizes the honorable member for Centerville.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. To the Honorable Speaker and members of the Honorable House of Assembly, this petition is from the undersigned citizens of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. This petition seeks to draw the attention of this Honorable House to the need for a review of the Quieting Titles Act of 1959 of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and for the enforcement, amendment, and or abolishment of the Act and its related purposes retroactive. Your petitioners do make requests and state as follows. Whereas Section 3, Part 27 of the Constitution specifies the granting and protection of the fundamental rights of human beings from being deprived of property. Whereas the Privy Council cases suggest that this clause should have priority over the savings clause in matters of fundamental rights. Whereas we believe the Act has allowed for foreign persons and or permanent residents to quiet land in the Bahamas to the disenfranchisement of the Bahamian people. And whereas we are unable to locate documents of companies in the registrar's office that would have quieted land or purchased land that was quieted. And whereas there are no restrictions on the amount of land that can be quieted. And whereas we believe in many cases the procedures and investigation processes of the Act and public gazetting is not in order with best practices. And whereas we believe the Act does not benefit the majority of the Bahamian people in terms of land ownership and wealth. And whereas funds received from all lands quieted and or resold should go to the Sovereign Wealth Fund as established by the Act of Parliament in 2016. And whereas we believe the land unit and land and survey department serve a single purpose, and adequate documentation of quieted land should be a public document. We, the undersigned, call upon the Parliament of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to establish a competent authority in law to eliminate the deficiencies complained of in the above recital. So we pray. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Order that the petition be brought up. Order that the document do lie on the table. Further, presentation of petitions. Presentations of reports of committees. Adoption of reports of committees. First reading of bills. The chair recognizes the honourable member for Freetown.
Mr. Speaker, I beg leave to move for the consent of the House to withdraw the following bill, a bill for an act to amend the Gaming Act, which is Bill number 80.
Bill number 18?
880.
80. Honourable members, it has been moved and seconded that the following bill be withdrawn from the action sheet. A bill for an act to amend the Gaming Act, Bill number 80 on the action sheet. As many as are in favor will remain seated. Those who oppose will stand. The bill is withdrawn. Further, first reading of bills. The chair recognizes the honourable member for Freetown.
Mr. Speaker, I beg leave to introduce and have read for the first time a bill for an act to amend the Gaming Act.
Is there a seconder?
Seconded.
Honourable members, it has been moved and seconded.
Never mind.
Honourable members, it has been moved and seconded that the following bill be read for the first time. A bill for an act to amend the Gaming Act 2019. As many as are in favor will remain seated. Those who oppose will stand. Order that the bill be read for the first time.
A bill for an act to amend the Gaming Act.
Further, first reading of bills.
No, I'm just giving him that document.
Second reading. The chair recognizes the honourable member for Carmichael.
Speaker, I take this opportunity now to move that the Honourable House do suspend until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning Thursday, the 18th of July, 2019, when it is intended that we will debate the amendment to the Gaming Act.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Is there a seconder? Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the business of this House do suspend until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, the 18th of July. As many as are in favor will remain seated. Those who oppose will stand. Honorable member. I don't have a difficulty, honorable member.
Oh, okay, thank
but
you.
usually, you know, just be a little quicker to your feet.
Quicker to my feet.
Yes.
All right, next
yes.
Thank you.
The chair recognizes the honorable member for Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador.
Speaker, I am very concerned. The member for Kalani is my prime minister. No, I recognize it. I think he should. You know, I have some views on, but those views about my prime minister is for me to express and for us to discuss, and we should have our agreement. Let me cuss my prime minister. Don't let anyone else do. You know, I give you, Mr. Speaker, because the question I have. I'm wondering whether this person, Ballinaire of BTC, Liberty, who mocked the Prime Minister, who was so derisive in a social media video that was circulated, whether he's in the country, whether he's been put on to stop this. You know, Mr. Speaker, I asked, and I think, Member Kalani, you'll be familiar, well, you may know, but I'm sure you know Theo, F&M Parkinson. You should let your member for Port Charlotte, and I asked him if he knew him. He said who he is. I say, boy, I know you. No, I now know. I say, boy, if you don't know him, you're not an F&M. But I say that to say this. Wow. In the early 70s, you know, in the early 70s, he was one of the most vociferous voice, passionate voice for the F&M in Grand Bahama. He was my friend. We lived in Grand Bahama together. On Friday evenings, we used to congregate at a place called Pub on the Mall. And on this Friday evening, boy, he was out there, I mean, broadsiding the PLP and Finland, cussing them out, carrying on. And if you know F&M Theo those days, he was spirited in his vituperative language in describing the PLP and the F&M. And this pub on the mall, you know, a lot of foreigners used to congregate as well. And it so happened that an Englishman, I know someone recalls what I'm about to say, an Englishman decided to get and butt into our conversation about, and was telling Theo Parkinson how right he was. That's a good thing you're doing. You're doing it. Next thing I know, a bottle was across his head. The point is, that's for us to cuss. Let me, as a Bahamian, cuss let me cuss my prime minister. You shouldn't be doing that anyway. Let me do that. Not for any foreigner but into our business. And so I'm very concerned. Now, if you want me to, I could, because you know when the executive from Royal Bank of Canada spoke down and bad about the employees of Royal Bank of Canada, the government didn't step in. I did, and engaged the chairman of Royal Bank of Canada, and he was within a week, no longer associated with Royal Bank of Canada. Now, you want me to engage Liberty's chairman, so this young man will be no longer engaged with BDC? I could do it for you. Because you should not allow yourself, by foreigners coming and talk and display such broadside. Well, I didn't hear anything. So I don't know, please enlighten me. Because I am very concerned. I had my chairman to issue a statement about it.
The chair recognizes the honorable member for Kalani.
Mr. Speaker, I would not want misinformation to remain on the records of the House of Assembly. I had a meeting with the executive of BTC Liberty. I had a meeting with the Listen and You'll Learn. I had a meeting with the executive of BTC about a week ago, or the latter part of last week, at which point I informed them, and it was a very cordial meeting, I informed them that the government will not tolerate the removal of the call center from Nassau to some other entity, Guyana or elsewhere, because I found it very insulting. I called Scotiabank some time ago, latter part of last year, I think, and was asking for a particular individual, only to hear at the other end of the phone a foreign voice. And there was a communication gap between myself and that foreign voice, somewhere in the Caribbean, answering for Scotiabank. And I was most insulted that in the Bahamas, we have personal relationships with our banking sectors and other industry elements within the Bahamas. And I'm most insulted when calling a particular entity and the phone is being answered by some foreign entity. And I was very firm that we will not tolerate our call center and beginnings losing jobs, closing call center and moving it to Guyana, that the government will not tolerate that. And the government is very upset with information that we're receiving that senior officials within BTC are being replaced for foreign entities. That is most concerned, and we will not tolerate that either. And there was some rumor that individuals were being cherry-picked to be dismissed, and that is not done in the Bahamas. And the remainder of the meeting, Mr. Speaker, I would not go into. And those matters were resolved. I know that some video is going on, but the video is not as what had taken place. The CEO, Alan, who you're talking about, called me on my cell, and he apologized for if the office of the Prime Minister was insulted. That was never his intent. He apologized to the Bahamian people if that was the interpretation. That was never his intent. And I told him, this was a communication early this morning, and I told him that I think it would be fair and wise if he would send an official letter of apology both to the office of the Prime Minister and the people of the Bahamas. Exactly what transpired and why things were done in Jamaica, Mr. Speaker, I know he explained to me, but I don't think I'm at liberty to disclose that information to the public. But we can expect an official letter of apology from Liberty, both to the office of the Prime Minister and the Bahamian populace. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Members, the motion on the floor it has been moved and seconded that the business of this House do suspend to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, Thursday, the 18th of July, 2019. As many as are in favor will remain seated. Those who oppose will stand. The business of this House stands suspended until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, Thursday, the 18th of July, 2019.